Ethan Cole was not a brave man. He was a quiet engineering student who liked small things: quiet mornings, black coffee, and working alone in his workshop. When the Galactic Student Exchange Program invited volunteers to host alien students, he signed up mostly for curiosity and the free rent. He expected his roommate to be strange, but he was not ready for her. Lyra of Alien 5 arrived in a silver transport ship that landed on the university field one sunny morning. She stepped out wearing a shimmering white uniform that looked half metal, half fabric, and she moved with graceful calm. Her skin had a faint silver-blue tone. Her hair was soft like moonlight, and her eyes glowed with gentle violet light. Ethan tried to greet her like a normal human. "Hi, I'm Ethan. Welcome to Earth." Lyra blinked twice, her species version of smiling. "Greetings, Ethan of Earth. I hope my presence will not disturb your habitat." From that moment, Ethan knew life would never be simple again. Their small apartment near campus was divided into 2 rooms, a kitchen, and a shared study. Lyra was curious about everything, from light switches to coffee machines. She wrote notes about Earth customs, sometimes asking questions that made Ethan laugh. Why do humans cover their sleeping forms with cloth? Does the air attack at night? No, Ethan explained patiently. It's for warmth. She wrote that down like it was new science. So heat is precious to you. Interesting. Every day was like that, questions, notes, and small misunderstandings. But they got along. Lyra was polite, soft-spoken, and surprisingly funny. She laughed like the sound of glass chimes in wind. Ethan slowly stopped feeling nervous around her. Then came the morning that changed everything. Ethan had been up late finishing his robotics project. He fell asleep at 3 a.m. and woke up late, 10 minutes before class. In a panic, he jumped out of bed, grabbed his towel, and rushed toward the bathroom. He didn't notice the door to the kitchen was open, and he didn't know Lyra was standing right there. Studying the microwave, he turned the corner and froze. She looked up, equally frozen. For a second, time stopped. Ethan's face turned bright red. He clutched the towel tighter. Lyra blinked, tilted her head, and studied him like a science puzzle. Then she did something Ethan didn't expect. She laughed. It wasn't a small laugh. It was bright, musical, and full of joy. "Oh, humans keep their heat trapped in cloth. Is that why you are always cold?" Ethan was too shocked to answer. It's privacy. We wear clothes because it's polite." Lyra stopped laughing and looked confused. "Polite? Is the air offended by uncovered skin?" "No, people are." Ethan groaned, realizing how strange that sounded. Lyra covered her mouth as if she was trying not to laugh again, but the giggles escaped anyway. "Ethan, you Earth people are delightful. You have rules for everything, even how much of yourselves you can show." Ethan hurried into the bathroom, face burning, while Lyra's laughter followed him down the hall. When he came out later, dressed and still embarrassed, Lyra was sitting at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee. She had found his mug and was sipping carefully, her violet eyes shining with amusement. "Your heat ritual was very educational," she said with mock seriousness. "I have documented it as morning panic with fabric shield." Ethan sighed and sat opposite her. "Please don't ever say that again, but it was fascinating," she said genuinely. "My species has no shame about forms. On Alien, everyone walks free. The body is just a vessel. We decorate our minds instead." Ethan nodded awkwardly. "Yeah, well, humans are different." "I see that," she said softly, studying him. "You guard your warmth, your thoughts, even your feelings. You cover everything, not just with cloth." That comment made Ethan pause. She wasn't teasing now, she was observing. Her words stayed in his mind long after breakfast. The day passed as usual, but the air between them felt different. Ethan kept remembering her laughter, not cruel but bright and free. Something about it made him feel lighter inside. That evening, when he came back from class, he found Lyra sitting cross-legged on the floor surrounded by notebooks. She was watching a video of humans greeting each other, shaking hands, hugging, bowing. She looked up. "Ethan, I have studied 42 human greeting customs today. None involve laughter after accidental exposure. Did I behave wrong?" He couldn't help smiling. "No, Lyra, you were fine. You just surprised me." Her expression softened. "Then I am glad. Surprise means you learned something new." He chuckled. "Yeah, I learned to lock my door." She laughed again, that same musical sound that made him forget his embarrassment. As days turned into weeks, that strange morning became a running joke between them. Lyra teased him gently whenever he acted too serious, and he teased her back whenever she misunderstood Earth habits. She once tried to microwave her notebook for sterilization, and Ethan had to rescue it before it burst into flames. They began cooking together. Though Lyra's sense of flavor was odd, she liked sweet pasta and salty tea. Ethan tried her alien fruit snacks that glowed faintly blue in the dark. One evening, while they were watching a documentary about human history, Lyra asked, "Why do your people keep saying they are small compared to the galaxy?" "You travel to stars. You build cities. You survive storms. You are not small." Ethan thought for a moment. "Maybe because we still make a lot of mistakes." "Everyone does," she said softly. "But only humans keep trying after mistakes. That is what makes you large." Ethan looked at her, the alien who once laughed at him in a towel, and realized she wasn't just curious. She understood him, maybe more than any human did. Their friendship grew deeper, built on laughter, learning, and honest questions. Lyra's presence made Ethan see his own world with new eyes. Things he once found ordinary, sunrise, rain, music, fascinated her completely. One night there was a small power outage. The apartment went dark and Lyra gasped softly. "Your light vanished. Are we safe?" Ethan used his phone flashlight. "It's okay. It's just electricity gone. It'll come back soon." She stared at the small glow from his phone. "Even in darkness, humans make light." "You refuse to accept the void." He smiled faintly. "Yeah, that's kind of what we do." Later that night, when the power returned, Lyra drew something on her notebook. Two small figures standing under stars. One human, one alien. With light between them, Ethan asked, "What's that?" "Our friendship," she said simply. "You showed me how small things, like laughter, can make a big world feel warm." He smiled and looked at her drawing. "And you taught me not to take myself too seriously." They both laughed quietly. For Ethan, that strange morning when his alien roommate saw him by accident had started as the most embarrassing moment of his life. But now when he remembered her priceless reaction, that innocent, joyful laughter, he realized it was the moment that changed everything. It wasn't about awkwardness anymore. It was about connection. Two beings from different worlds, learning to understand each other not through science or study, but through humor, kindness, and shared mistakes. That night, as he sat by the window watching the stars, Ethan thought about her words. Humans are not small. He smiled, feeling proud of his species for the first time. Somewhere out there, billions of light years away, Lyra's people might be watching the same stars, and maybe, just maybe, one of them would laugh the way she did. Bright, fearless, and full of wonder. The months after that strange morning passed quickly. Ethan and Lyra had become one of the most talked about pairs on campus. At first, everyone found the idea of a human and an alien sharing a small apartment fascinating. Some were curious, others amused. But when photos of them attending classes together appeared on the university's social network, attention turned into whispers. People began calling them the interstellar odd couple. Some even joked that Ethan was secretly part of a science experiment. He laughed it off at first, but the comments started to bother him. Lyra, meanwhile, didn't understand why humans cared so much about rumors. "If they are curious," she said one evening, "shouldn't that make you proud?" "Curiosity is a sign of learning." Ethan smiled tiredly. "On Earth, curiosity can also turn into gossip. People like stories more than truth." Lyra tilted her head, thoughtful. "Your world is very emotional, but that is also what makes it bright." Their friendship stayed strong despite the attention. They worked together on a joint project, combining human robotics with alien biotechnology. Lyra had brought a small sample of her world's living metal, a strange silver material that healed itself when cut. Together, they tried to merge it with Ethan's drone prototype. Working late nights, they talked about everything: stars, dreams, and fears. Lyra told stories about Alien, where buildings grew from crystals and music was used to heal sadness. Ethan told her about Earth's oceans, its storms, and how humans once reached the moon with machines made of fragile metal. Lyra's eyes always shone when he spoke of Earth's courage. "You people build wings before you learn to fly," she said once. "That is madness and beauty." But not everyone saw their friendship that way. One afternoon, when Ethan entered the university lab, he heard two students whispering. "He's wasting his time. That alien is just pretending to be friendly. She's studying us like lab rats." Ethan froze. They didn't see him there. Another voice added, "Yeah, he acts like he's special because he's living with her. Probably trying to get famous." Their words stung more than he expected. He walked away quietly and tried to hide his frustration from Lyra. But she noticed. That night, while they were cleaning the kitchen, she asked, "Ethan, why are you silent tonight?" He hesitated. "It's nothing." She set the dish down gently. "Humans hide pain behind the word nothing. Tell me the real word." He sighed. "People at the university think you're just using me, studying me like a science project." Lyra frowned, her violet eyes glowing faintly. "That is false. You are my friend, not my experiment." "I know," he said quietly. "But they don't." She was silent for a long time. Then she said, "Do humans fear what they don't understand?" "Yes," Ethan answered softly. "A lot." Lyra nodded slowly. "Then maybe we should help them understand." The next day, she made an announcement through the science club. She and Ethan would give a live demonstration of their project at the university's Interplanetary Technology Fair. It was the perfect chance to prove that their work, and their friendship, meant something real. They spent 2 weeks preparing. Their drone, half human-made and half alien-grown, could move without fuel and repair itself in seconds. Lyra called it Harmony. When the day came, the hall was full. Students, teachers, and journalists gathered, some excited, others skeptical. Ethan stood on stage beside Lyra, feeling nervous but determined. Lyra stepped forward first. Her voice was calm and clear. "I am Lyra of Alien 5. When I came to Earth, I did not understand many of your customs, but one human taught me through kindness instead of judgment." She turned slightly toward Ethan. "He showed me that humans may be fragile, but your will is unbreakable." Then she held up the drone. "This is our creation. Half from aliens' living metal, half from Earth's machines. Together they are stronger than apart." The crowd watched as the drone lifted smoothly into the air, shimmering under the lights. Ethan used his remote to guide it through a series of tests: flight, obstacle dodging, self-repair. The drone hit a wall on purpose, bent its frame, then straightened itself again within seconds. The audience gasped. For a few moments there was silence, then applause filled the room. After the presentation, reporters surrounded them. Some asked about the technology, others about their friendship. Ethan answered simply, "She's not my project partner. She's my best friend." That night, after everyone left, Lyra stood beside him under the starlight outside the hall. "You see," she said with a soft smile, "understanding grows from courage." He smiled back. "You're pretty good at speeches, you know." She tilted her head. "I only spoke truth. On my world, that is not called a speech. It is called sharing light." They walked back to their apartment quietly, both feeling lighter than they had in weeks. But peace never lasted long. A week later, news came that the Galactic Exchange Program would soon end. All alien students had to return home. Lyra received her departure notice, a glowing blue message that appeared on her wrist communicator. Ethan read it and tried to smile. "Guess it's time for you to go back." Lyra's face was unreadable. "Yes. The program ends in 3 days." The apartment felt emptier already. Ethan didn't know what to say. He wanted to thank her, to tell her how much she had changed him, but the words stayed stuck in his throat. On the last night, they sat on the balcony watching the city lights. Lyra broke the silence first. "Ethan, do you know what I feared before coming to Earth?" He shook his head. "I feared humans," she said softly. "The council told us that your species is dangerous. Emotional, unpredictable, too proud. They said humans reach for stars without knowing how to land. But they were wrong. You are not dangerous. You are hopeful. And hope is the rarest thing in the galaxy. Ethan swallowed hard. You make us sound better than we are. Lyra smiled gently. Perhaps you cannot see your own light. Then she reached into her pocket and took out a small glowing shard. It pulsed softly like a heartbeat. This is an alien memory crystal, she said. It stores emotion and sound. I have placed something inside it, laughter, warmth, and light. He took it carefully. What does it do? When you touch it, she said, you will hear the sound that changed everything. My laughter from that first morning. Ethan laughed quietly. You recorded that? I wanted to remember how humans make mistakes beautifully, she said, because that moment taught me that imperfection can be priceless. He turned the crystal over in his hand. It glowed brighter when his skin touched it. Thank you, Lyra. Thank you, Ethan, she said softly, for showing me that courage can live in small apartments. The next morning he went to the launch site to see her off. The silver ship waited, engines humming quietly. Lyra stood by the ramp, her violet eyes reflecting the sunlight. She lifted her hand in farewell. Keep dreaming, Ethan of Earth. I will, he said, and don't forget us. She smiled. How could I? My best memory lives here. The ship rose slowly, leaving a shimmer of light in the sky. Ethan watched until it became a bright star among others. Later that night, he sat by his window holding the glowing crystal. He pressed it gently, and Lyra's laughter filled the room, soft and musical, echoing through the quiet air. It made him smile through the ache in his chest. He looked out at the stars and whispered, You were right, Lyra. Humans aren't small. We just forget sometimes. The crystal glowed warmer as if answering him. From that day, Ethan dedicated himself to finishing their project. He called it Project Harmony and worked for years to perfect it. The drone they built together became a symbol of unity between humans and aliens. Years later, when the Galactic Council announced that Alien and Earth would begin full partnership, Ethan stood on stage beside a new ship built with both technologies. In his pocket, the small memory crystal still glowed softly, a reminder of a priceless friendship that started with an accidental laugh. And sometimes late at night when the ship engines hummed, he could almost hear Lyra's voice whisper through the stars. Even the smallest species can shine the brightest light. Ethan smiled, knowing somewhere out there, Lyra was looking up at the same stars and laughing again.